A cop tried to intimidate Lieutenant Imani Harper on a Baton Rouge street, and minutes later, she had him humbled with one swift move. You won't believe what went down. Imagine this: a street soaked in the scorching Louisiana sun, the air heavy with fried catfish scent, and the faint sound of kids laughing in the distance. Suddenly, a patrol car breaks the peace, tires squealing on cracked asphalt. A tall, powerful woman strides forward, her eyes sharp as a knife. She doesn't know she's about to clash with a badge-wearing man who thinks he can bend her, but he's got no clue who he's up against. This isn't just any tale, it's a showdown of wills, a moment that'll rattle a man's ego and echo through Baton Rouge streets forever. Stay with me, because what's next will blow your mind. Before we jump in, here's a quick ask. If you love stories that get your blood pumping, that make you want to stand up and yell, "Yes, that's how it's done," then hit subscribe now, tap that bell so you don't miss a beat of these gripping stories. Let's dive in together. It was an April afternoon, the sun dipping low over Baton Rouge, casting golden and orange streaks across the sky, spilling like honey over busted sidewalks. Lieutenant Imani Harper walked those streets with a quiet confidence, the kind earned through years of grit, facing the worst and coming out whole. Her dark, deep eyes, like fresh brewed coffee, swept the neighborhood. It all felt familiar yet off, like a half-remembered dream. 7 years had passed since she last stepped here, since her mom's funeral and joining the army, yet it was like time stood still. The same corner store with its washed-out sign hawking 2-for-1 sodas, the same barber shop with beat-up chairs, the same basketball court where kids played like everything rode on each shot. The aroma of fried catfish wafted from old Miss LeBurn's diner, wrapping her in a warm hug she didn't see coming. Imani shifted the duffel bag on her shoulder. She wore plain gear, a fitted tee, cargo pants, and worn sneakers. Nothing screamed military, but her walk gave it away. Shoulders squared, chin up, every step precise. Her dad used to call it a warrior's stance, and she smirked at the thought, a quick flash of nostalgia on her battle-hardened face. Passing a crew of teens outside the store, one, a 16-year-old with a crooked cap, looked up, gave her a double take, and nodded. "Military, right?" His voice was curious, almost awed. Imani stopped, locked eyes, and said coolly, "Something like that." The kid grinned, showing bright teeth. "Knew it! My cousin's in the army, moves just like you." Before she could reply, his buddy hollered from inside, and the moment slipped away like smoke in the wind. That little exchange hit her. Why she'd picked this life, why she'd survived years in hellholes, most only catch in war docks, Kandahar, Fallujah, Mogadishu. She'd led teams through dead-of-night chaos, sandstorms eating sound and light, facing madness and gunfire. Now, at 40, she was back home, strolling streets that murmured memories she'd shoved down. But that warm calm snapped when a patrol car crept up, too slow for a neighborhood where cops usually peeled out without a glance. Imani kept moving, acting like she didn't notice, but her radar was up. She knew the drill. The window hummed down, and a rough voice cut through. "Excuse me, miss." She paused, turned just enough to see him. Officer Derek Simons, white, mid-40s buzz cut, thick arms, screaming authority. His mirrored shades hid his eyes, but Imani felt them sizing her up, like she didn't fit. "Can you tell me what you're doing around here?" His tone was laid back but loaded, an arrogance she clocked right away. Imani stared back, face steady. "Walking? Maybe," she said, a touch of sass creeping in. Simons's frown deepened, his smirk fading. "We've had break-ins around here. Just checking everything's good." She didn't budge. "Did you see me breaking into anything?" Silence. Simons's jaw clenched, the air between them thick, like a storm brewing. He didn't want answers. He wanted dominance. And Imani got it because she'd dealt with guys like him before. Dudes who saw a self-assured black woman and took it as a dare. "It's my job," he grunted, leaning toward the open window. She inhaled deep, holding back the urge to set him straight. "Then I'm just walking." But Simons wasn't dropping it. He parked the car and stepped out, his big frame throwing a shadow on the pavement. "Hold up, I need to see some ID." Imani didn't move fast. Years of training had her sizing it all up. Threats, exits, motives. This guy, hand near his holster, wasn't just patrolling. He was trouble. Slowly, she pulled her military ID from her pocket and held it up, not handing it over. Simons grabbed it quick, flipping it like a trophy. "Navy SEAL, huh?" he read aloud, voice dripping with mockery like it was a joke. "Sure this isn't fake?" Imani felt a flicker of heat, but snuffed it with the discipline that kept her alive in war zones. "You can check it. You'll know soon if it's real." But Simons didn't want facts. He wanted a scrap. Then the street got eyes. A young woman whipped out her phone, filming, bold as day. Others stopped, whispering. Simons's grip, so sure a second ago, started slipping under those stares. "You got a problem?" he barked at the girl with the phone. She didn't flinch, just kept rolling. Imani let a small smile slip. Now he was the one on display. Simon stepped closer, crowding her. "I don't know who you think you are, but I call the shots here." She met his stare, voice low and solid. "You sure about that?" Then he blew it. He went for her wrist. In a flash, Imani moved, not wild but sharp. Her arm shifted, breaking his hold before it stuck, and Simon stumbled, stunned. The crowd gasped. "That's assault," he shouted, but Imani answered with cold calm. "No, that's avoiding unnecessary contact." He was fuming, face red as the sunset, radioing for backup. But the crowd was hers now. "Backup for what?" someone yelled. Simons was losing it and he knew it. "Turn around, hands behind your back," he ordered, voice shaky with rage. Imani stared him down, giving one last heads up. "If you cuff me, you'll regret it." He smirked, reaching for his cuffs. Big mistake. In one smooth move, Imani sidestepped, redirected his lunge, and with a wrist flick, had him spun, his own arm pinned. She didn't hurt him, just left him clumsy, exposed, humiliated in front of everyone. The crowd went off, phones grabbing every bit. Then Sergeant William Burke rolled up, an older guy with eyes that had seen it all. He clocked the scene fast and demanded answers. Simon sputtered a lie about resistance, but Burke saw the ID in his hand and knew the deal. "Lieutenant Harper, Navy SEAL," he said loud, and the vibe shifted. Simons went pale. Burke pulled him off duty right there. Imani could have filed charges, but passed. "Why not?" Simons asked, dazed. She looked at him steady. "Because I already taught you the lesson you needed." As Imani walked off, the neighborhood hummed with what went down. Simons bailed, his career trashed, and Burke knew this wasn't done. Later, on her dad's porch steps, Imani talked to her Uncle Ray. "Does this change anything?" she asked. He grinned wise. "It's not about changing everything, it's about changing something." And maybe, just maybe, she had. The big takeaway here is that strength isn't about flexing power. It's about knowing who you are and standing firm, no matter who's pushing back. Lieutenant Imani Harper didn't need to brawl or shout. She used precision and poise to flip the script, showing that real control comes from within, not a badge. In our own lives, we'll run into people who test us, judge us, or try to box us in. This story says, stay cool, trust your grit, and let your moves prove your point. Whether it's a tough convo at work or a standoff in your neighborhood, you can rise above without losing yourself. Thanks for writing this one out with me. Your views keep these stories coming. Drop a comment. What's your key lesson here? Like, share, and subscribe so we can keep digging into tales that spark courage and growth.